Okay, this next video is a bit of a funny one. It covers bending the sides. As you know, I cut some mahogany to do that, which basically turned out to be completely unsuccessful. I just wasn't happy with it at all. So I went on to plan B and used the maple, which was more than successful. It was I managed to get a much better end result than I'd ever expected to, and you will see that. But the video is basically a cut and paste between bending the mahogany and bending the maple, and in there's plenty of information on how to bend the sides and what not to do and what to do. So I'll just get on and make up the best I can out of the clips that I've got, and you'll see the end results are very good. And this is basically just to come out with what we've ended up with. Okay, we've got the 4 sides almost down to the right thickness now. Like I say, I prefer using a scalpel blade to do that rather than plane it, because it's just too wibbly wobbly. I mean, you could easily build a jig to hold them in and run a plane over it. That's fine anyway, that you prefer. Introducing you to my steam bending iron. You can buy commercial ones, but they'll probably set you back the best part of a few £100. I built this one for about £25, I think. Chunk of aluminium, just a plain bar. I did get a friend to turn down a section on the top for tighter bends. In the bottom, the heating element is just one of those little, I've forgotten what you call them now, but they're just a little tube. They're on eBay for next to a few pounds. They've got 2 wires coming out of them, and this controls the temperature, and I think it's just, I mean, yeah, again, just a voltage regulator, but they very easily purchased. It goes from 0 to 250 volts. I mean, it's the same sort of thing as you get on an electric cooker, I think. So I mean, I think I knocked the whole thing together for about 30 quid, and obviously you can't have it like next to the, you don't want this in metal at all, because the whole thing gets hot and you wouldn't be able to touch it. But I wrapped some car exhaust wrap around it just to insulate it from the wood, and it does the job very well. In fact, it heats up a lot quicker than any commercial one that I've used. Kind of think probably because I bought the nuclear powered level of little heater that I could. But the heater, I got a guy to, like I say, turn this for me, and he drilled a hole through the centre for I think 6 inches for the heater, 16mm hole. I think the heater's a standard 16mm, and then just slid it in and job done. So let's get on. Well, hi there. To save you hearing a load of swearing, one of the reasons I've actually bent one side to shape now is because I've never used mahogany before to do this. I mean, the grain on this, you can see, is really swirly, and even when I try and bend it in my fingers, it goes like a propeller blade. So I'm not actually sure how successful this will be. I've got one side steam bent and in the mould, and believe me, it would have been more of an 18 rating with the language. It was very difficult, but I thought I'd leave the second one to do with you guys watching to see the process, and at least I might have learnt to be a bit more adept at bending mahogany. If this doesn't work, then we've always got plan B, and I remember showing you the maple that I can bend for the sides and stain it to look like mahogany. Basically the method is I don't like actually like soaking wood for too long. Well, not maple anyway. I haven't got the experience with mahogany, but with maple it tends to get a bit hairy and flake a little bit as you try and bend it. So we'll have a go at this. So the first thing we're going to try and do is bend a curve on here to get it into its starting point and then around there. So I'll move you in a bit closer to the bending iron, and we'll start rocking and rolling then. Right, so the bending iron is pretty on. As you can see, it's a bit smoky, so it's hot. What I do first of all is I've got a little tin sheet. Well, it's actually copper, but I mean you can cut a Coke tin in half if you want, and you can put that on the outside, and then the wood against there on the inside. I more or less have the temperature turned right up. If you wanted to build one of these irons and not be too bothered about temperature, you could just switch it on and off at the mains. I mean, it stays warm for long. In fact, I'm going to switch it off now because I think it will stay warm long enough, and I want to go and have a coffee, and I won't want to leave something boiling hot in the shed here. So let's get going. The first thing I've done, just to do the bend on the very end, because I can't really hold it, I've clamped this bit of wood there. So I've got a bit of a lever. Now when you're bending wood, if you think you're pulling too hard, you are, and it will break. You should feel it go a bit plasticky, and then you can bend it. Yeah, it's a bit of trial error. It's not my favourite sort of thing to do with wood, because it's not like cut into an exact line or anything. It's just touchy-feely sort of stuff. But let's have a go. But I'm going to leave you on for all of this, so promise I'll try not to swear. That's just water in the pot there, just to moisten it up a little bit. One thing that's a good Oh, that was interesting. We just had a power outage, which is quite funny considering I poured water all over the what's it. But honestly, it was nothing to do with me. The street lights were off outside, but we're back now. But it doesn't disturb too much. You can see that I've got this basically pretty close to shape now. What I'm going to do is now you can see I've got this in the mould quite nice and tight, and now I've got to cut it Well, to be absolutely honest, I'm not really very happy how that went. You can never tell. Tomorrow, when we come back and have a look at it, you know, the wood might have set to the mould, but basically, when I take these sides out the mould, if they don't stay reasonably in shape, we're going to have to do them again. And plan B is going to be using what I'm more used to using, this maple, typically this maple sort of thing, and we'll remake the sides in that if it doesn't work. This mahogany, the grain on it was very, very twisty, because you can see when I bend it, it's got a twist to it. It wants to turn like a propeller blade, and I think the grain is a bit too wild. So we'll have a go with maple if we don't have success with this, and this will be fine. I've used this before. So thank you very much for watching today. Cross fingers, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. Welcome back. Here we are. Then it's about nearly a day since we bent these sides. As I kind of alluded to yesterday, I had my doubts about the wood I was using and the grain direction, and I think basically wasted my time with that mahogany. You can see the sides like bent fairly well to shape, although when I took them out of the mould they sprang out a little bit, which I don't like, but worst thing, they snapped. And also what I didn't like is I had to put so much heat in the wood that I started scorching it in places. But I think, I don't know if you can see, you've got this grain direction that goes like that, and the wood was, as I was trying to bend it, the wood, you can actually see there, the wood was actually twisting upwards along the grain, and just when I took the other side out of the mould, again another snap, which is a shame, but you know, worth a try, I think. So I'm going to have a quick look around for some more mahogany with a straighter grain in it, but if not, we've got that acoustic guitar side in maple that we could use. So let me have a quick shifty around, and in the meantime we'll get rid of that, and we'll start again. Put this in the junk pile, which is a shame, but it's just, yeah, shame. I think this bit of wood was telling me all along that I should have used it for the sides, because it's the perfect width to get 4 strips out of, plenty to do the mandolin. And I've just got the final one to cut here now. I mean, it's such the right size that I couldn't even saw it. I'd have to use the scalpel, and each one of these is perfectly 35 millimeters wide, which is exactly what I wanted, and the whole piece was 140. So just should have listened to the wood whisperer, right? Yeah. So let's get cutting. The flame, the pattern in the maple, if you can see it, this ripple here, quite often, well, more often than not, it's not perpendicular to the edges, so you get this slope in it. So when you actually bend the sides for a guitar or musical instrument, I mean, you can just steam it, bend it, jolly good. But once you've done one side, when you would be looking at the side of the instrument, the grain will have a slope, or the flame will have a slope. Now, when you pick up the other side and bend it, just connect brain a little bit for 5 minutes, and make sure you haven't got the slope on one side going that way, and then on the other side going that way. So make sure that, when you look at one side of the instrument, the grain is sloping the same way as the other. I've learnt that by mistake, but so basically, if you put these, well, this has got such a small grain in it, but I think you can see it there, where you have the grain, looking like a nice dart sort of thing, and you want to keep that. So you'd want you'd want the instrument to be built like that, so the grain on both sides slopes the same way, which is just a nice finishing touch. And especially if you make a 2-piece maple neck with a flamed maple and with a joint down the middle, make sure the grain forms a chevron kind of thing, and it just looks like it should look, really. So there we go. We'll get back to another day of bending then. Catch up with you soon. Okay, we're nearly ready to start having our second go at bending these sides. You notice that in the butt part of the mandolin here, I've just cut these slots in here. This is a good way to just have a clamp for the bending. When you put it in the mould, it sticks it. You can easily shave that off later, obviously, and there'll be a neck block going in there anyway, so I could have done it 2 ways: either cut the neck block already, screwed it into the mould, or held it in the mould and whatever, but this is a lot easier. So getting ready now. Make sure your numbered blocks are in the right place, and let's cross fingers and hope that this attempt gets rolling a bit. This is already going so much better than the first one. You can just see just after that, very short little bit in the bender, it's perfect. Let's have a quick look how it's going in the mould. We can see that it's just starting on that bend there, and you know, it's pretty perfect already actually. So we'll just keep moving along. Like I said before, I don't particularly like soaking the wood. Tends to get a bit furry, so I just wet it with my fingers. And also this block arrangement on here was just to get going on the edge, so I had somewhere to jam it in there. And if it's particularly difficult to bend, like I say, I've got this little copper plate. I mean, you can use an old Coke can, anything, just cut it up. You can put it on the back and that keeps the heat in the wood. You may need it for rosewood that's difficult to bend. But anyway, we'll carry on. As you bend the wood, you know, with the water on it, you should hear it like sizzle a little bit, but don't keep it on there long enough that it will start scorching the wood. Otherwise, you end up with a lot of sanding to do. It's also best to keep the piece on the base of the bender, so everything's square. You're not bending it at an angle. Anyway, I'm going to put you a bit further away. You'll be able to watch this from a distance. I'll probably speed it up in the final video, but otherwise I'll have to keep moving you out of the way of the mould. I tell you what, there'd be a good drinking game the amount of times I'd say mould, wouldn't it? Keep looking and checking between the mould and what you're doing, and it may seem a bit like difficult to get right, but it's surprising how good your eyes are at picking out you know, the areas to need a bit more bending and stuff like that. I mean, it's going really well. I'm so much happier than yesterday with it. compared to yesterday or with the mahogany. I mean, it should be a pleasure to do. Yesterday I just felt like annoyed with it because it wouldn't go where I wanted, and if it's like that, you're not going to make a good job of it. So got the right equipment, or the right wood now to do it with, kind of thing. So just carry on. What I'll do now is I could get it cut to size to this notch just in here, and then we can get it in the mould and leave it set and get on with the other sides. I'm so happy with that. When you're like bending wood like this, it should not be a struggle. Put it on the bending iron, press it in. If you feel as though you're going to snap it, you are going to snap it. So just wait till it gets a little bit warmer, and then you'll feel it go sort of plasticky, and you can just push it and bend it. But if at any time you feel as though it's going to snap, it will snap. Don't do it. So yeah, we're all good with that, and now I'll just mark it up. No, still a little bit long. Well, as you can see how that fitted in there, delightful, really pleased. So much less hassle than yesterday. So, yep, really pleased with that. I'm going to go inside now, so happy with it, and rip my wife's panties off. They're killing me. Now I've taped this side all in. It didn't need much. Actually, I'm just going to put another quick clamp on there. I just want it to, probably won't make a blind bit of difference, but it's just fractional. Doesn't even really need to be tight. I think that's perfect. And what I'm going to do now is just start going round one of the inside curves. We'll see how that goes. I mean, I'm not actually using any water on this, but put a bit on and might stop it scorching. You can see I've made some quite big changes here. I had a lot of luck bending the maple actually quite easily around these blocks. You can see better on this one here. Just superb, and it's great that I managed to do this, because now we'll get a consistent look to the grain all the way around the instrument. What I did is I trimmed these blocks, the thickness of the maple smaller, and then just jammed it all in there so the block perfectly fits now. But not only did I have success there, coming around to the base of the instrument, you can see here that I also managed to trim these blocks as well, and then bend maple in around here as well, and up there. And these blocks just mean the whole thing can be squashed and held in now until the glue till the wood dries off tomorrow, and it'll be much more stiff. So basically we've got all the sides in. Here's the mandolin's butt here. We've got that in, going into the neck joint. All the sides bent in. I'm really super pleased with that. It's just come out excellent.